Hi, so in this video what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick intro in CSS. So CSS is what you use to start to get style and the look of your website. So we're going to start off pretty basic. First thing we need to know is where do you actually add the CSS. So to do that you can create, there's several ways to do this, but we're going to start off by just adding a style tag here at the top. Now the way that CSS is broken up, it's broken up into components. Right? The first one is your selector. The selector is what tells you what is it exactly that you want to style. So there's there's different types of selectors that we'll get into some later, but we're just going to start off by selecting an element, right? So we can say I want to adjust all H1s. I want to adjust all H2s. So that means if I make an adjustment to all H2s, then this H2, this H2, this H2, and this H2 are all going to change. So we'll start off with that. So we're going to say H1, right? And I want that to be, we'll just say color. We want that to be, red, right? And my H2s, I want those to be color blue. Okay? So now if I test this, right? Now you'll see my H1s are red, my H2s are blue. All right. However, you know what? I don't like this font. I want to make this a different type of font. So how to do that is you want to use font family. Now, yes, I could say make H1. We'll just say we could say H1. Actually, I don't need to do it from there. I could go over here and add an additional property and value, and I can say font family. Right, and then here I could say something like Arial, right? And when I test this, like my H1 turned into Arial, right? But then that would mean I'd have to go Arial, and then I'd have to look for the P, right? And say Arial, and that's kind of that's kind of annoying. So let's not do that. Okay. So what you could do is, because the H1s, the H2s, the P, and all of that stuff live inside of body, I can say body, I want everything inside of the body to be font family, and here we can say Arial, right? And now when I test this, everything is Arial. Okay. And then like I said, you can add additional things here. Let's just say if I want my my H1 to have a text decoration of underline, I can do that. Test it. Now I have an underline. So go through that. That's basically a pretty pretty simple explanation of how you would affect text. And yeah, explore and adjust. Think about what your design is, and then go into here and start to think about how you might make that happen. In terms of, so if you want fonts, now the way fonts work is Arial works for me because I have Arial in my computer locally, right? However, you might want to have something more special, something that's a little more designerly, right? A little more control over what you want. If you want to do that, then one thing you could do, you just do a search for Google fonts. And there's a variety of different sort of web-based fonts, but Google has a nice big library of what you might want to do, want to use. So let's just say I want to pick this, maybe this open. I like this for like my header, right? So maybe I'm just going to grab that, right? And when I grab it, you can click into it and just sort of see how it looks. You just click in this little font family selected. And what this is going to give you, it's going to give you a link, and it's going to give you a font family. So grab this link, copy it, go to your page, right? And you want to paste that here, right? And then grab this font family thing here, right? And let's just say I want my H1 to be that. So I'm going to put font family open condensed, right? And test this, and now my font family is of that font. Okay. So there's two ways. So these are going to use the user's fonts, and be aware that I used Arial. However, you'd actually need to say Arial and Helvetica because, or just do a more general sort of sans and sans serif. This gives you slightly more control. Okay, so what is this link tag up here? So what link is, this is a way to call external files. So let's say I don't want to have my style, my CSS in my HTML. You want to separate it all. So we can just delete that, say link, and then here say I create a new file called type CSS, right? So this is an external file inside of this href. So link rel style sheet href type CSS, and then create a new file in the same directory, paste the same code, save it, test it, and there you go. It still works. So yeah, so that's CSS, and yeah, have fun.